Hi, my name is Cheryl Cohen. I'm the president of Arthritis Consumer Experts, which is a member of the Arthritis Alliance of Canada, and I'm here reporting on behalf of the Arthritis Broadcast Network. This morning we're really pleased to have with us Janet Yale, who is the president and CEO of the Arthritis Society of Canada, as well as the chair of the Arthritis Alliance of Canada. So we're very pleased and privileged to have her here today in our interview booth. So welcome, Janet.
It's great to be here.
Thanks. Over the last few days, you've been here at the Canadian Rheumatology Association Annual Scientific Meeting. And this is sort of where the brain power is in terms of clinical treatment and clinical research in Canada. For you, in your capacity and your leadership capacity, when you look out at what's been talked about over the last few days, for you, what excites you, I guess?
Well, first of all, it's just incredible to see the way in which the rheumatology community comes together every year. And that's a testament to the fact that these meetings really are their opportunity to share what's gone on over the last year in terms of exciting new discoveries, best practices, and from my observations, people are really engaged.
Yeah.
The questions are as interesting as the answers, as interesting as the presentations, and it's a very animated, lively conversation. The other thing that's really impressed me is the extent to which the rheumatologists as a community take their leadership role very seriously in terms of what it means to be a rheumatologist and the importance of them thinking carefully about what it means for their patients today and into the future, and that's really evident in the level and thoughtfulness of the way in which the sessions are organized and the conversation that happens.
Yeah, I would agree in the accessibility of the language. I think they've given a lot of thought to that. We're not looking at 20-syllable words at the poster sessions. I think it's very approachable. So I would agree with you.
It's very exciting to see that, and also the hallway conversations, because there's lots of time in between sessions, and it's a wonderful opportunity for someone like me to have a chance to meet casually and sometimes more formally with a variety of people without having to crisscross the country to find them, because everybody's here. So that's just great.
As a Vancouver-based national organization, I know exactly what you mean. I find myself in Toronto with my bag in my hand more often than I find myself here in BC. In your capacity as President and CEO of the Arthritis Society and your great leadership that's come on board over the last couple of years, you've started a campaign called Share the Pain, and we're really interested to hear how that's going. It was just recently launched a few months ago. The word pain certainly resonates in me as a person living with rheumatoid arthritis, and I'm sure our viewers would love to hear how that's going and what you think about it in terms of its relevance to patients.
Well, thank you for asking about that, because it's something that I feel very passionate about. That when I started, we never talked openly about what it means to live with arthritis. It was very clinical, detached kind of conversation about the programs and services that we offer. And I felt that if we were going to be relevant to the lives of people with arthritis for decades to come, we really had to understand what was on their minds and go to them in a way they could instantly relate to. So we've asked ourselves, what is the one thing that people with one of the 100 different kinds of arthritis have in common? And we did some research, actual research of our database to find that out, and it aligned with our instincts, and it's pain. And yet we don't talk about pain because we think that reminds people that they're in pain. But it turns out that people feel like they have to suffer in silence.
Yeah.
Unlike other diseases, if one of the primary symptoms is pain, people really don't feel comfortable talking about how it hurts. And it can hurt in terms of the physical pain, the psychological pain, the pain they cause to their loved ones because they can't keep up with things they used to do, worries about whether they can keep their jobs. Pain is multifaceted.
Right.
And we said, okay, well, let's really hear what's on people's minds. So we created a website called thepain.ca, and we asked people to do one thing. Just go on the site and share their pain. Tell us how the pain of arthritis is impacting their lives. Yeah. And we had thousands upon thousands of people come and tell their stories. Very moving, as you can imagine.
That's incredible. Yeah, I get all kind of goosebumps.
I know. And reading, it was like addictive because you kept reading the stories.
Sure.
And what we learned from that were the things that we could most do to help
So you took that on the street feedback and now begin to reflect that feedback into your programs.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
So the
brilliant.
next phase of the campaign, which we're calling it Erase the Pain,
Oh, nice.
is how do we help take away the pain of arthritis? What are the things that we can do in terms of the research we do, the programs we offer, the online information and education we provide? And so we will be going out very shortly with both an advertising campaign and some very specific solutions based on that amazing input that we got from people through the website, which is going to be continue to be a living site.
I was going to ask if it's going to keep going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We want to evolve it into more of a community center, an online community center where people can share their thoughts and stories, and where we can also provide expert advice and guidance to people. So it'll really become that community hub for those living with arthritis.
Those comments that came in about pain, Janet, are they available online? Can other people read it and
Anyone
learn from
can
it?
go to the pain.ca website.
Okay.
You have to register if you want to make a comment.
Okay.
You don't have to register if you just want to see what's there.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing that information.
Oh, it's very, very exciting and I think empowering.
Yeah, and useful. I think it's only worth doing if it's actually going to change the course of someone's experience for the better.
If we're going to be relevant to people living with arthritis, we have to ask them what we need to do to help them. And that was the premise of this dialogue that we started.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
As
you.
one of a number of consumer groups here at the meeting, we thank you for doing that work on our behalf. Really
You bet.
important. Our last question in the studio today is really around the community at large. You are the chair of the board of the Arthritis Alliance of Canada, and have done a terrific job, I might add. you've got to try to herd the cats, and you've done an admirable job of it. And what I would like to know from you, and I'm sure our viewers would like to hear from you about, is what you felt were the big accomplishments in 2013, and then what are the plans for 2014? We're already here in February, just around the corner is March. And I know you've already accomplished a lot in the Alliance, but what about the balance of the year? So what were the big moments for you last year, and what are you excited about in 2014?
Well, I would say there are two things that really stand out for me last year. One is the way in which the arthritis community has come together and engaged in the work of the Alliance. This is not just a small group of 8 people on a national board doing a bunch of work. This is teams of 30 and 40 people from all different parts of the arthritis community working collaboratively to get things done. And to me, that's a sign that this is a real endeavor that's worth doing, because people are engaged.
Yeah.
They want to help. They want to help in any way they can. And each of our working groups in the areas of advocacy, in the area of model of care and research, have more volunteers sometimes than we know what to do with. And so that was really exciting to me, to watch it come to life and really have productive, meaningful work come out of that process. The second thing that I was really excited about is that we challenged ourselves in year 1 to put on a conference.
Right.
And said, we're going to have our first annual conference and symposium, having no idea if we could actually pull it off, but challenging ourselves nonetheless to do it. And I think we had a great event. People felt very, very proud of what we accomplished. Obviously, it was a smaller conference because we didn't want to get ahead of ourselves in terms of our capacity to execute. But we had a great one, and we're looking forward to this year. So in terms of this year, I think the thing we want to do is really build on the success of the first conference and have an even bigger conference in year 2. And to the extent that we can, bring in other organizations who would like to hold their annual meetings in conjunctions with ours. So it becomes a real annual gathering spot for the arthritis community writ large. And related to that, we want to make sure that we encompass all parts of arthritis. So the first working group was really focused on inflammatory arthritis. And the really big next step for us this year is to build up our capacity around best practices in osteoarthritis. So those two things, build on the success of last year's conference and really start to understand how to build a best practice model for osteoarthritis.
That's terrific. As one of the members of the Alliance, I concur that those moments for you were the same big moments for me as well, and I'm sure for other member organizations. And we just are thrilled. I'm thrilled as a patient, first and foremost, to, as you said, see this big, broad community come together in kind of a, not an institutional hug, but a community hug. That's how I view it in my own mind. So it's very exciting for a person living with arthritis to know that everyone's pulling on the same oar. You know, we're not just going crazy in the rowboat and about to tip over. We're actually going towards the finish line.
And I think that's why it's really important, and one of the things that I was personally adamant about is let's not try and boil the ocean and do a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Let's pick one or two things, do them well, so that everybody feels good about what we've accomplished and can see the success.
Yeah.
And then pick 2 more things.
Yeah.
Right? Not pick 10 more things that that overwhelm our capacity as
Yeah.
volunteers to do.
Yeah.
And then just slow and steady build with hopefully a tipping point at some point where all of a sudden this becomes huge news because we've done all the groundwork step by step.
Exactly. Well, we couldn't thank you more, Janet, for joining us today. We know you're very busy at the meeting, planting ideas in people's minds so that they grow bigger and better for people with arthritis. So thank you very much. We're very honored to have had you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.